All right, good morning and welcome to Daf Yomi. Chagigah, Daf It 25. It's going to be a great day today. You know what today is, David?
No, ma.
Yom Rishon. איך אומרים יום ראשון?
Sunday.
באנגלית? Sunday.
ומה אוכלים ביום ראשון?
בסכת חגיגה עושים מסיבה, okay? We do a party. בסכת חגיגה means a party in Hebrew, right?
Yeah.
So how do you party on Sunday? Show us, David. What do you do? Here we go. What is this? Look at this, ice cream sundaes. We got our Ben and Jerry's ice cream over here. We got our chocolate syrup, and we have our delicious sprinkles over here. We're celebrating L'chaim. It's going to be a great Sunday. This is the way you do it on Sunday. Why is it called a Sunday? Why is it ice cream called Sunday? Called the ice cream Sunday? Because you eat it only on Sundays. If you eat it any other day of the week, it's taiva. It's terrible. It's bad desires. You eat it on Sunday, that's kedusha. That's holiness. And I want to tell you something. Because Ben and Jerry's. Okay, let's eat a little bit.
Wow.
Is that good?
מדהים. ממש.
This is amazing. Now,
Wow.
Some people say that Ben and Jerry's is a little controversial because they support BDS, right?
Mm-hmm.
But boycott the West sanction. They don't want to sell this in the West Bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't live in the West Bank, so we can eat Ben and Jerry's. But I want to say something. I'm Ben Sion, but my English name is Benny. So here's Ben, and this is Das Torah, which is written by Rabbeinu Yerucham Halevi, Yerucham Levavitz. Yerucham in English is Jerry. So we got Ben, I'm Ben, and Jerry. We're a Sefer Vayikra. This is the parsha of the week, Vayikra. We're eating ice cream, Ben and Jerry's. So I want to tell you something about protesting and things like that. You know, I understand. Good ice cream, no?
משהו.
Is it worth even giving a share, learning Torah now?
Yeah, בטח.
Zruk lachol, kol hajar. We have to eat the whole thing.
יש פה חבר ועם הארץ. איזה יופי, נו.
Who's the chaver?
סתם, יוב.
I'm chaver הכנסת.
לא, אתה חבר, תלמיד חוכם. אני...
איך אומרים בעברית? איך אומרים לכנסת? חבר הכנסת, כן?
כן.
So אני חבר הכנסת?
לא, חס ושלום.
האב של דוד הוא בכנסת. What's the last name?
לא. לורנס.
Lawrence? זה המשפחה שלך?
הוא היה, yes.
שלמה לורנס היה...
בן דוד חמישי.
So you were connected to the Knesset. Look at this. He's a real chaver connected to the Knesset. But I want to say something about, I grew up, my parents told me, they said, don't buy any German products, right? They said, anything from Germany, don't buy BMW, Mercedes, even Adidas sportswear. Why? Because you're supporting people who started the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I agree. It was a terrible thing that happened from Germany in the 1940s, but it doesn't mean that I have to hurt myself and not get quality stuff from Germany. I buy Adidas. If I want a Mercedes, I even have a stroller, Cybex, very good stroller. But David, I want to say this: Ben and Jerry's, you're right. Whether you agree or not with BDS or you agree with settling the West Bank, you shouldn't. Who are you hurting by not eating delicious Ben and Jerry's ice cream? Me and my dream. If I had to go back in time machine, my dream is to sit here with David Yomi Shir, not with you, David. Rabbi Yerucham Levavitz, me and Rabbi Yerucham Levavitz eating Ben and Jerry ice cream. Wouldn't that be something, David?
What?
Wouldn't that be something? Mashu. Ani Yerucham Levavitz. B'sha 1920. Ani Yerucham Levavitz, Ochlim Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Sunday, B'yom Rishon on a Sunday. And give a Daf Yomi Shir, Yerucham Levavitz. Wouldn't you want to see that? Well, that's going to happen tomorrow. The Chagigah Mason is going to be tomorrow, and Yerucham Levavitz is going to sit here with me. We're going to eat Ben and Jerry's. But the problem is it's not a Sunday tomorrow; it's Monday. That's the problem. I'll have to wait till next Sunday. All right. Thank you, David. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Thank you.
All right, let's get to the daf today. That was good stuff. No? Sunday. It tastes better on Sunday, right? What? Oh, you're going to have to ask a rabbi. Ask her Yerucham Levavitz, maybe.
Okay.
I was feeling sick today.
What?
I was feeling sick today. Choleh. Ben and Jerry's.
Baruch Hashem.
Mishnah changes. All right. Let's get started. Shkoyach. Amazing. Only in Ben Zion Lang Shir. This is further proof why I give the best Daf Yomi Shir out there ever. There will never be a Daf Yomi Shir like this ever again. And it's proof number 4. It'll be there in my thumbnail. All right. The Mishnah on the bottom of Chavdal Amud Beis, it says, Chomer b'truma. We listed in the previous Mishnah, there were certain things that made Kodesh more Chomer than Truma. 11 differences. Now, the Mishnayos are going to talk about why Truma, in what aspects Truma is more Kedusha than Kodesh, than Karbanos. Yehuda ne'eman al taras yayin v'shem and kol yemos hashana. V'shas hagitos v'abadim alf al truma. And Yehuda is the lower section of Israel, the Judean mountains, where Jerusalem is. The lower half of Israel. People are believed, Amei Aratzim are believed to say yayin and shemen that were earmarked as Kodesh, they were donated as Karbanos for the Beis HaMikdash. The whole year around, my arts are now to say it's Tahor. Only during the seasons of the wine press, bottom is the wine press, Gitos the olive press. Only during those seasons are they Neman or Amirats and Neman regarding Truma. Avru Hagitos v'Abadim, if the Gitos Amanim pass, Vilo Chavish Yayin Shal Yayin Shal Truma, Lo Yikablan Memeno. The Amaritz brings it to you and it's not the right season. He says it's Truma, it's Torah, don't accept it. But the Amaritz could hold on to it and give it to you during the following olive press season, and it's because it's during the olive press season that you got it, so therefore you could use it. There's a heter, this is the chiluk, that even if it's Truma, if he said that I put some Kodesh in there, even if it's not Shasa Gitos, Shasa Badim, it's not the time of the wine press, the olive press. The Amar says Neman because he's Neman on the Kodesh, and the Kodesh that's inside the barrel, so therefore he's Neman also on the Truma. That's one difference. Kadiyayin and Kedei Shem, a second difference. They have barrels that contain wine and oil, sherry, oak casks. Hamidumos, Medumos generally means that there's a mixture of Truma and Chula in there. The Gemara originally understands to mean Shruma, Medumos usually refers to a mixture of Chulin and Shruma. So their Neman, Amaratz are Neman, only Shas Hagitos Abadim at the time of the pressing season. The Kodem Lagitos Shivim Yom, and also before the Gitos, 7 days before, that's the time you have to prepare. We'll see exactly in the Gemara how Kodesh is less Chomer than Truma in this regard. The Gemara says, Yehuda in of a Galilod. The Mishnah's Medulik. It only says in Yehuda they're Neman on Kodesh. Why only Yehuda, lower portion of Eretz Yisrael? My time. On Reish Lakish, Meshur Tzua Shal Kusim Mafsekes Beinein. Because in order for people in Galil, the Galil is the northern part of Israel, for them to come to the Beis HaMikdash, they have to pass through a land that's inhabited by Kusim, whoever Kusim are. They're half Jews, not Jewish. And they're for sure not Neman, and therefore they have Tuma over there. And therefore there's Tuma that's going to Matame, for sure it's going to Matame on the way to the Beis HaMikdash, so Matame the Kodesh. The Mercy of Anesim B'Sheda Teva Migdal. Why we have a problem? You could bring it from the Galil in a Sheda, in a carriage or a Teva, in a box, a Migdal, a closet, and carry it in that. The Mercy Hamani Rebbehi, it's Rebbehi, the Amar Oel Zaruk, Lab Shmei Oel, a moving tent, right? In order to the reason that the Gemara insists maybe you should do this is because, let's say it's flying in an airplane or it's driven in a car. So the bottom of the car or the airplane serves a chatzitza, and it'll protect it from Kabal Tuma, from this piece of land of the Kusim. But the problem is it's moving. So Rebbe, a moving oil is not considered an oil. The sign of Nichlas Haaretz Ha'am, you go into Chutz Haaretz. The Sheda Teva Migdal. Rebbe Metami, we know that the Rabbanon goes there Tuma outside of Chutz Haaretz. Any place you go out of Chutz Haaretz, you go to America, you go to Monaco, you go to the Bahamas. All these places, they're Tameh, there goes the Tumah on there. Rios Yehuda Matahir. He says if you're carrying an airplane, there's a common shaila. People fly over a cemetery in an airplane. Are Kohanim allowed to travel on it? Those who actually chatzitza. So this is essential machlokas. Rebbe says all zarak lashmeo and all that's moving is not considered all. Yehuda is Matahir. We're generally machmer for this. Leisu b'kli cheres. Hamukah of summit pasul. So you don't want to bring in an oil, but at least put it in an earthenware kli and shut it up tight, hermetically, where there's no air going in. Amar Rebbe Lezer shown in hekdesh nitzel b'samin pasul. So Rebbe Lezer answers that a hekdesh, a kodesh, it's not saved, even though it's an earthenware jar that's hermetically sealed. The Gemara says, "Tanya in chatas nitzel b'samin pasul." The Brisa says chatas, mechatas, water that you used to sprinkle on a tamei mace, that's not saved. I said, my love ha kodesh nitzel. What's the implication? The implication something else is nitzel. It means kodesh, regular kodesh. Karbonos is nitzel. Where is low? Hamayim shem kudash nitzel. That what all the Brisa means to imply is that water that you haven't made yet into mechatas, you're preparing to make it the mechatas. You haven't put the ashes in yet. That the summit pasul does save on it, but kodesh wouldn't be saved. It says about Amrar Ulach Avraya Medakim Galila. It says that the Chaverim, the Talmidei Chachamim in Galil would process their kodesh wine and oil in Tara because they plan on bringing it to the Beis Hamikdash. So you see that even in Galil you can rely even that it's tar. The Mars Manichin Ul Sheva Eliyahu. It doesn't mean they're matayir, but they're leaving it for many years until Eliyahu comes. They're preparing for Eliyahu to come and check out this land of the Kusim and tell you where the tumah is, where the tumah is not, and therefore you can bring it successfully to Beis Hamikdash. But they're not actually going to bring it nowadays. Shas Hagidos Nemanav al Truma. At the time of the olive press, they're believed even on Truma Amaretz that it's taught. Raminhu, the Gemara says Gomer. Someone who's fixing is gathering together his olives to press them, right? He should leave over one box. And he should give it to an ani Kohen. You should give it to a poor Kohen, right? So you can trust the Amaretz. You can trust the Amaretz. And this presumably is talking about it's talking about dafka when you're gathering the olives, meaning it hasn't reached before the olives are gathered, they can't be makabel tuma. So dafka says, as brisa, you should give it to them before you press them, because before you press them, then they're not makabel tuma. Why does it say that? We just said the Mishnah says that they're nemanim during the olive press season. They're neman, so why do you have to do it before they're pressed? This Mishnah is talking about, whoa, you can't come here. He's playing sports. Now I need ice cream. Need more ice cream. I can't even see. No one can see you, Yehuda. Where are you going?
Run.
He's going to run now after ice cream. I don't recommend that. All right, so the Gemara says, after an ice cream sundae, you run? Oh my gosh, my ice cream sundae is turning into mush. This is a real ice cream sundae. What is the main part of the ice cream sundae? Is it the sprinkles? Is it the ice cream or is it the syrup? I mean, obviously, you just have syrup and sprinkles, not ice cream sundae. I mean, the ice cream, but what's more important, the syrup or the sprinkles? I think ice cream sundae is the syrup. You have to have the syrup. Without the sprinkles, it could still be called ice cream sundae. You put sprinkles on ice cream, that's not a sundae. Everyone knows that. All right. Remember, only eat it on Sunday, okay? Unless you're going to be violation of the Ramban, al Parshas Kedoshim, the Ramban says that manuval versus a Torah on Mondays through Shabbos, you're considered manuval versus a Torah. Even on Shabbos, you're considered manuval versus a Torah. If you eat ice cream Sunday on Sunday, then it's considered ultimate Kedusha. All right. You like that joke, right? It's funny. What I had a hat. All right. Where it says, when it's coming to olives that ripen early, so that's right. That the Mishnah is talking about. Abba Afli. Here we're talking about where the olive pressing season is over. We're talking about most of the olives are early ripening olives. These olives were late ripening. Therefore, it's no longer the olive pressing season. Therefore, you have to give it to him while you gather it before it's makabel tuma. Amalei Ravada Barava can go in my. Where do we have such late ripening olives? He says, "Goes in Beis Avicha." It was very insulted. He insulted him like your father's house. You don't care about parnasa. You just go for the. No, I'm just joking. The Gemara doesn't explain why it's an insult. Rabbi Yosef Amar Beglila Shanu. There's a different answer to resolve our Mishnah in this brisa. He says Beglila Shanu. It's talking about the Galil where you're not Neman. That's what this brisa was talking about. Neman al Yayim Shas Hayayim al Hashem Shas Hashem, and this heter to rely on Amaratzim during the wine pressing and olive pressing season applies not only in Yehuda but also Evra Yarden, which would be the West Bank, or the Galil. It would apply to both of them. Avalo al Yayim Shas Hashem, al Hashem Shas Hayayim. The brisa continues. You're not Neman. The olive pressing season is different than different time in the wine pressing season. So only during its own pressing season, you're Neman. So the Gemara says, Elam Chavar took the Shana Mikar, the Gemara relents and says, say the first answer, Haba Afli, Haba Charpi is the real answer, not the Glila Shana. Mishnah continues, Avar Ogisos Habadim, Yilo Chava Shal Yayin, look up Lena and Menel, Menicha Lagat Haba. If the Amaretz brings it to you, right, you're not allowed to accept it, it's Truma. Bo mi name Rosh Hashanah, Avar V'Kibla Mao, let's say illegally, the Chaver accepted it from him. Now that I wasn't supposed to take it from the Amaretz, can I leave it to the following olive pressing season and using that? And Amar Lahu, Tani Suah, so he answered that we have a brice like that. Top of Chafim, Beis Chaver Amaretz Yarshu Asavim. Let's say a father, he has two kids. He has one kid off the derech and one kid on the derech. On the derech is the right derech. The right derech is to be said kol all day, Shemayim, and take staka. He's on the derech. You're off the derech, right? It says Chanach Lenar Pidarko. I have big machlokas about this on Shabbos, It says Chanach Lenar Pidarko. So in the Yeshiva Shavelt, everyone says if he strays and he's not learning Kol his whole life, or he's not in Klei Kodesh and he's a Rebbe, or he's not a big veer and giving staka to all the yeshivos to support them, then he's off the derech. OTD, you're off the derech. Off the derech is a terrible thing. It's an embarrassment. It's a busha for the family. He's got all his tattoos. He's hanging out with the guy's friends. It's terrible. It's off the derech. He's an Amar. He's off the derech. Now, it says Chanach Lenar Pidarko. So my question was, if we maintain Chanach Lenar Pidarko means everyone's supposed to be on the derech, to be learning in Kolol their whole life, so shouldn't it be Chanach Lenar Al Pi Darkecha, your way, the parents' way? So they'll answer, no, Chanach Pi Darko, lefi his individual personality. If he likes music, let him play a little music, sing a little bit. Of course, only Ben Astarim, only Ben Asmanim. And if he's someone who likes to play sports, let him play sports once a year, maybe. If he's someone who likes to go hiking, maybe you do that. If someone who likes to draw, then Al Pi Darko, his hobbies, that's what they would say probably, right? This different personality. Of course, his whole life he's been learning Torah or Klei Kodesh. Problem with that is it doesn't say, it says Darko. Darko is your way in life, not your, I should say, Chanach Lenar Pi Chukaso, his hobby, what he likes to do. Darko is, even when they acknowledge it, off the derech is the path you choose in life. So you see clearly from Mishlei, Chanach Lenar Pi Darko, that even your son's an Amaretz, it's his derech. It's his choice. It's up to your kids to make choice in life. You bring them into the world. You can give them education. You can not give them education. You can homeschool them. You can do whatever you want. And ultimately, when the kid turns 18, he's free to do whatever he wants. You help him. You give him food. You give him assistance. You give him shelter. And then when the kid gets older, you let him go on his own. You don't have to tell your kids what to do. You should get nachas or whatever. You enjoy your kid. Right, but ultimately he has his own life. He has his own neshama. He can make his own decisions. I was once at a Shalom Sachar, and one of the neighbors comes with his son. His son was 21 years old. I think he got married a year later. He was 22. And I'm sitting there at the table, and he comes up, and I'm like, I start talking politics with him. He's a Yeshiva guy, but we're talking politics, whatever, about Degel Torah, or one of the parties there. And the father, this kid is 21 years old. The father comes and says, no, he doesn't talk about that. And the kid was silent. He didn't even answer before. Once the father said that, the kid was silent. He's not allowed to talk about that. He doesn't talk about that. Who are you? Like, your son's 21 years old. He's given Bechira Chavshis. God gave him the will to choose his way in life, and you're going to take that away from him? You're going to take away his ability to choose which way he goes in life? And if he goes a different way than you, that makes you sit shiva for him. It's not what God wants. God wants you to, give him an upbringing, provide him with his physical needs, but ultimately it's his own choice in life where he goes. Anyway, they inherited their father's estate. His father was an Amaretz. So Yachal Lomerlo told the Chaver could tell the Amaretz told Tachidish Makom Ploni. He knows one place is Torah, one place is Tamid. He tells the Amaretz, you don't care about Tara, to eat your chulin b'Tara. I want to eat my chulin b'Tara, so therefore I'll take the wheat in a Torah place. I'll take the wine in the Torah place, you take the wine in the Tamid place. Because of Breira, we assume that Bora, that's considered the Yerusha, whatever, they split it evenly, but he doesn't have to take the Torah and Tamid, that's still even. But you can't tell him, you can't, that's not considered Breira. If you say, you take the wet one, which is makabel tuma, because it's wet. I'll take the produce. You can't do that. That's not evenly spreading up the rush. That wouldn't be a situation of breira. Tani Allah, and the Bryce says regarding that also chaver soriv halach miniach yavish, because he has to take part of the moist crop, so he has to burn it. Amai, why does he have to burn it? Let him use it, the moist stuff. In the following olive press, we assume that time. The Amar says Neman on Tara. The Amar says B'davar Shein Lo Gas. This Bryce is talking about something which doesn't have an olive press season, like dates or something like that. Let it see over the regal. We'll see later on that during the regal, there's also a heter to rely on Amar saying that something is tar. The Amar says B'davar Shein Lo Shtamar the regal. We're talking about food which does not it'll spoil before the regal, so therefore you can't wait for the regal. Mamre Frash Lo Tocha Revius Kodesh. Neman, if he says, the Mishnah continues that he says part of the Truma barrel has Kodesh, and also because he's Neman on the Kodesh, Neman on the Truma also. Tan awesome. Modim and Shabbos Hill, Shabokin La Ose Pesach, Bokin Lochle Truma. Shabbos Hill agree that we're taught there's a concept that Beis HaPras. The Beis HaPras is where there's a chashash, we're worried there might be bones that are tummy, that are the size of a bone. A small bone, or a bone the size of a barley seed. And if it's the size of a barley seed, when you walk in it, you become tamei. So when you go to bring a Karim Pesach, which is Kodesh, you have to be tar. So both can also say Pesach, you can check. We'll see how you can check the field to make sure it's tar. On your way to bring the Karim Pesach. And both can also Truma, but you can't, if you're going on your way to eat Truma, also has to be instead of Tara. You can't be tamei when you eat Truma. You can't rely on the setter to check it. My boat, what is, first of all, the Gemara established, what is the check? I'm Rav Yehuda, I'm Shmuel, I'm Menafeach Ad Beis HaPras v'Holeh. What does he do when he on his way he blows a little bit, and he blows away the bones, or if there's bones there, and then he continues walking. He just checks to see if it's the Beis HaPras has been trampled by a lot of people. It was a public walkway, so therefore people would have stepped on the bones and made them less than the size of Etzem Kasaora, a bone the size of a barley seed. So the Gemara says, "Laose Pesach l'midu divrayim makom kares la'ochle truma midu divrayim b'makom misa." So the Gemara answers, so why were they more makel by karbonos by Pesach? So there the Gemara says because it's kares. Not bringing a Karim Pesach is only kares. If you eat truma and tuma, so then midu divrayim makom misa, they don't allow you to be bodek. To rely on this kula because it's makom misa b'dei shamayim, which technically is more chomer. So let's say he checked for his Pesach, which you're allowed to do, which is before. Makom kares, they weren't mamid, right? So could you rely on it that now that you're Torah, when you pass through the Beis HaPras, you can rely on that you're Torah for Truma also. Ula Amar Badak Lepischa Mutal Leachal B'Truma. Ula says if you check for your Pesach here, you could eat your Truma. Rabbi Ula Amar Badak Lepischa Ashal Leachal B'Truma. So he says it does not give you the heter to consider a Torah for Truma. Amar Le'ahu Sabalo Tivlog Le'ad Ula. A certain elder person said, don't argue on Ula Dazan Kavase. The Mishnah, we have a Mishnah that says like him, Mamar Ifrash L'Toch Revias Kodesh Neman. If he says in the barrel of Truma, the Amar says there's Kodesh also, he's believed to say the whole thing is Torah. On account of being Neman for the Kodesh, he will also believe from the Truma. Because he's believed for the Karim Pesach, he's also believed to say that he's in a state of Tara for eating Truma. Kada yain v'kedei shemen, barrels of wine and oil. Tana ein neman lo kanim v'lo al truma. You have a Bryce which says you're not neman for the actual barrels. Say the barrels. Amar say the barrels are tohar and not on the trumas. The word says kankanim demai. What are we talking about? The barrels. You can call them to kodesh if it's barrels filled with kodesh. Mika the hemen kodesh. Like the Mishnah says, Amar is believed on kodesh. So once he's believed on the actual kodesh inside, we assume that the barrels themselves are also in a state of tara. El kankanim the truma. If there are barrels of truma, pshita, it's obvious. Hashtag truma lo mehemen. What's inside is not mehemen. Kankanim mehemen. Everything the truma inside touches the barrel. It shouldn't be neman also. But deliberate, kanim the kodesh v'shari mos hashana of malayin the truma v'shas hagitos. Must be we're talking about empty barrels that normally are used for kodesh, but there's no kodesh in there, so therefore you can't say because he's neman on the kodesh, neman on the barrels. So there he wouldn't be neman. Malayin the truma v'shas hagitos. Also barrels filled with truma during the olive press season. He's neman on the actual truma inside, but he wouldn't be neman on the barrels themselves. We don't say miku the heman truma. He's heman because it's only a special heter. They're wearing shas hagitos to rely on the amarets for truma. It's not. Kedei yain and kedei shemen hamadumos. Mishnah says a difference in kodesh and truma. Let's say you have wine and barrels of wine and barrels of oil. Hamadumos. So madumos usually means chulin and truma mixed together. Ma'alav madumos to truma means that chulin and truma are mixed together. And you see it's talking about barrels. This Mishnah kedei yain and kedei shemen. So he is believed. We just said now that if he has full barrels of truma during shas hakitos, he's not neman on that barrels. The Mishnah says he's neman. Medumos the kodesh. We're talking about it's obviously medumos means there's truma in there mixed with chulin, but he's going to use. He plans on designating part of the barrel for kodesh also. So therefore, he would. That's why it's different. So the Gemara says, "Umiika," and that's why he would be neman because he's neman on kodesh partially. So therefore, shasagitos would allow him to be neman for the barrels, not just the truma, but also the barrels also, because he's planning on using them for kodesh also. There's more of a heter to believe him for kodesh. Where it says, is there a concept of mika dimul kodesh? Is there a concept of dimul for kodesh? I'm debate Rabbi Eli Matara is typically told men in the Sachim. It's talking about, like we said, like I explained before, it's talking about where he's watching it from tevel is untithed produce before he take off trumos. He's watching already before he takes off trumos. He wants to use the wine or the oil in order for nesachim, for libations, the wine for libations on the mizbeach for kodesh. So therefore, even though he's going to take off tevel, there's going to be truma in there. It's going to truma kodesh and that. So therefore, he's believed on the barrels also. Kodem legitos shivim yom. Mishnah says he also believes 7 days before. Amar Abaye Shomina Dinahu the lavei arisa lemitrach agufi shivim yom mekame ma'atzara. So we learn from this Mishnah that included, if you're a sharecropper and you're paid in order to press wine or press oil, 7 days before you're also supposed to be working. If they employed you for the year to work, you have to work, like we see from this Mishnah, 70 days you have to prepare, you have to get the barrels ready. So therefore it's your responsibility, the sharecropper, to be toreya, to matriach himself, to get the barrels ready 7 days before the olive press. That's halacha and dinei maminis. You see from our Mishnah. I hope you enjoyed today's shir. Happy Sunday, and everyone take out, make their Sundays Ben and Jerry's. It's okay. I am the new Ben and Jerry's. This is Ben and Jerry's, the real Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry of Yochel Lavavis. Maybe I'll learn something to say for today. Sefer Vayik, Parsha Vayikra. Maybe we'll learn a bit. Enjoy. See you later. Bye.